What's going on, YouTube? This is Unger to the Max here. Salute and woof woof. So, I just wanted to give my thoughts on NFL free agency. So, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind over the past 48 hours or so. Lots of stuff has happened. So, let me just give you some quick highlights. Drew Brees re-signed with the New Orleans Saints. Kirk Cousins is going to Minnesota. Teddy Bridgewater is going to the Jets. Case Keenum is going to Denver. Tyrann Mathieu was cut from the Cardinals, and Ndamukong Suh was is expected to be cut from the Dolphins. What else? Sammy Watkins is going to the Chiefs. What else? The Browns signed Carlos Hyde. Richard Sherman is leaving leaving Seattle to go to the Jets. Jimmy Graham is going from Seattle to Green Bay. And Green Bay also cut Jordy Nelson. Let's see, what else? Oh, Michael Bennett got traded from Seattle to Philadelphia. Let's see, what else? Panthers re-signed Julius Peppers. I think I already said this one, but I'll say it again. Tyrann Mathieu got cut by the Cardinals. And breaking news, for those who may not have heard, Joe Thomas has officially decided to retire. And I think that's it. The unfortunate part about that, he never got a taste of the playoffs in all of his career while he was with the Cleveland Browns. But he did get to experience a bunch of different head coaches and many different offensive coordinators, many different head coaches, many different quarterbacks. Some of those quarterbacks include Brandon Weeden, Seneca Wallace, Jake Delhomme, Johnny Manziel, Thad Lewis, Colt McCoy, Deshaun Kaiser, Robert Griffin III, who else? Seneca Wallace. There's so many Brown quarterbacks, it's ridiculous. How about head coaches? Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini, Mike Pennant, Hugh Jackson, who else? The list goes on and on. But here's something interesting. In my previous Cleveland Browns video, I had said that there have been reports that the Browns were considering drafting Saquon Barkley with the number 1 overall pick. So those rumors have diminished because I'm pretty sure I heard that the Browns actually came out like today or something and said that they are for sure drafting a quarterback. So that means they're either... Oh, and if you're wondering about why my glasses started out dark and now they're light, it's because they're transition lenses. So, I was just outside, so it was dark, and my glasses were acting as sunglasses, and since I'm back inside, they lightened up. So, in case you were wondering. But anyway, as I was saying, the Browns came out and said they are most likely going to draft a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick. So that most likely means either Sam Darnold from USC, Josh Rosen out of UCLA, who's the other one? Josh Allen out of Wyoming, or Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma. So all 4 of these quarterbacks, especially Darnold, Rosen, and Allen, can sling the ball. They can fire it downfield. But the one element that Baker Mayfield brings to the table is that he can run. And there were a couple times during the season where it looked like Oklahoma had had plays that were designed to quarterback runs. And that can sometimes get you in trouble And that can sometimes get you in trouble in the NFL now because teams have set up, design quarterback runs, and the quarterback gets injured, like Robert Griffin III with Washington a few years ago. Andrew Luck has constantly gotten hurt. Now, that's not only because of design quarterback runs, but running is certainly part of it. The one quarterback who's actually good at running is Russell Wilson. But he has to because the Seahawks offensive line has struggled. And we'll see how they do. So, hang on. I need to go into my dorm for a second. Because I know the Browns' opponent. We know who the Browns' opponents are. So, hang on one second. I'm still going to keep recording though. I believe I read somewhere that the Browns have the third or fourth, no, like the 8th hardest schedule. Although we don't know who, we don't know when the Browns are going to play, but we know who their opponents are. Actually, let's see. Browns' opponents are set. Hang on, I'm getting this right off the Cleveland Browns website. Yes, Browns' 2018 opponents are set. On top, at home, the Browns' opponents are Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Have fun dealing with the high-paced offense of the Falcons and Matt Ryan, Cleveland Browns defense. Hopefully they hold up somehow. Then you got Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers coming in. Then Kansas City. Wait, breaking news. Quarterback Chase Daniel agrees to a deal with the Chicago Bears. Okay. So as I said, at home, the Browns have Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, the 3 AFC North teams, and then Atlanta and Carolina, the 2 NFC South teams, then the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, AFC West, and the New York Jets, because the Jets finished in last place, just like the Browns. And away, at the Baltimore Ravens, at the Cincinnati Bengals, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North teams, at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and at the New Orleans Saints, because the AFC North plays the NFC South this season. Then at the Oakland Raiders, and I think this is their final year in Oakland, but I'm not sure. But the Browns have to go to that horrible stadium. Then at the Denver Broncos, we'll see if the Broncos' offense and defense is similar to what it was in 2015. Probably not. And then the Houston Texans, because the Texans finished with this in last place, just like the Browns. Although the Texans and Jets finished in last place, they didn't do as bad as the Cleveland Browns. Because the Cleveland Browns didn't win a single game this season. Yeah, the Browns went winless. I believe they've only won one game in the past. We've only won one game in the last 2 years combined. Like 1-32 or something. Some ridiculous record like that. But I don't know what to think with the Browns. I really don't. You let Crowell walk. Yes, they brought in Jarvis Landry. Yes, they brought in Tyrod Taylor, who the Browns have said is just going to be a bridge quarterback. So, yay! Another quarterback to be added to the list. And yes, they traded for Demarius Randall, but it's ridiculous. And as I said, Ben the rest of the AFC North destroys the Browns every time. Although, speaking of the AFC North, I want to touch on something else super quick. Even though this is a Cleveland Browns video, I want to talk about something that I've touched on previously, but I want to mention it again. And that's division realignment, specifically in the AFC. Even though we have great rivalries in the AFC North, such as Baltimore-Pittsburgh, and even though that's a great rivalry, it doesn't make sense that Baltimore is in the AFC North. I think the only reason they are is because the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore. So it made sense just to keep the Ravens in the AFC North. But let me give you this for a minute. Let's say you move the Miami Dolphins to the AFC South. That creates more of a rivalry with Jacksonville. Similar to in Major League Baseball when the Houston Astros moved to the American League West, and then they became division foes with the Texas Rangers. Same idea. It would be an in-state rivalry. The Dolphins and Jets would be, or not Jets, Dolphins and Jaguars would become in-state rivals. And so let's just say that. You move the Dolphins to the AFC South with Houston, Tennessee, Jacksonville, and Miami. Let's just say that's the AFC South. Move Baltimore to the AFC East with New England, Buffalo, and the Jets. And then you move the Colts to the AFC North with Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. That makes more sense. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it's just a thought. And as I said, when the Browns' schedule does come out, I will do a Cleveland Browns schedule prediction show where I will give my predictions game by game, week by week of how I think the Browns season is going to go. Originally, I said I would do a half and half show where I would do half Browns and half Jaguars. But I decided not to do that. I'll do a completely separate video for the Jaguars, and I'll do a Cleveland Browns prediction video or season prediction schedule prediction show video by itself, and then a separate Jacksonville Jaguars schedule prediction video. I think that's better than doing half a show of Cleveland Browns schedule predictions and half Jacksonville Jaguars. By doing it game one show at a time, I'm able to give more attention to each game and talk about the opponents. And, yeah. So it should be interesting. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of Cleveland Browns Breakdown and giving my thoughts on the Cleveland Browns and NFL free agency. Hope you guys liked that video. If you guys did, punch that like button like a UFC fighter, and punch that subscribe button like a UFC fighter. But until next time, this is Unger to the Max, signing off. Woof, woof, and salute. Go Browns, go Jackets, and go Cavs.